Hi, this is Ingrid with TechCrunch. I'm here with Scott Jones, who's the CEO and co-founder of ChaCha, the Q&A network that has probably one of the earliest movers in that area. And today they're announcing a nice-sized funding round. Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you. Yep, we got a good round of funding behind us.
Great. Why don't you tell us just very quickly what's going on there?
So we raised another round of funding, $14 million from Vantage Point, Row, and Qualcomm. And this will allow us to invest further in our future. We've had tremendous growth over the last year. We doubled our unique visitors, almost doubled from 25 million uniques to 45 million uniques. So, real significant player in the Q&A space. And we're continuing on that growth path. We've got a new segment of the business that we're growing as well called Social Reactor. So we're on the upswing and we needed some more dollars to fund that.
Okay, so you're going to expand social with the financing. What else are you looking to do with the money?
We're also expanding our presence on smartphones. So we exist on smartphones today, but we have a significant research and development effort on the mobile offering that we have. We have about 70% of our traffic that is mobile already, and so we're making that experience even more mobile and social and local. And so that's where a lot of the dollars are going.
That's wonderful. Tell me what you think the state of the Q&A market is today. I mean, the way I see it is it's had a kind of interesting injection of social into it. I mean, it's probably one of the earliest spaces in social web when you think about it, because it's got such interactivity by its, in nature. But I think that, with the influx of things like Siri, you're starting to see a whole new dimension into Q&A. How's that impacting what ChaCha is doing?
Right. I think it's really early still. So, and there's been a lot that's gone on already, and yet it's still early. So, Google had their answers. They bought Aardvark and then shut it down. LinkedIn had their answers and, is not going that direction now. So there's been a lot of attempts at answers. There was Ask Jeeves long ago that turned into Ask.com, which is more search engine-like. You've got Quora in the space that's, in my mind, being more of a Q&A formatted Wikipedia, which kind of plays to the announcement today on their blogging platform. It's more long form content and less about short form Q&A, which is that's what ChaCha is really driving toward, is solving a problem that no one in the world has solved yet, which is that real time ability to ask for an answer to something while you're on the go. It could be about any topic. But we think that we're delivering much better than, say, a Siri is. The aspirations of Siri on the TV commercials were very high, but I think there was a big letdown by consumers, because while it was cute and playful, it's almost a fad. Whereas ChaCha is really trying to get you your answers. Most of the time when you ask Siri, I'm not talking about things that exist on the phone itself, but if you're asking for something that's external to the phone, if you wanted to know, flight schedules and, best price of a product and, some health-related medical thing or something about NCAA basketball, some random question, Siri's just not going to produce very good answers to that in real time. And that's where ChaCha comes in. And there's actually been a study recently that is coming out in a couple of weeks that shows that ChaCha is dramatically ahead of the pack, and yet nobody in the Q&A space is at that place where I think you have to be for consumers to really adopt. And that is, you got to answer the question quickly and accurately within seconds, or worst case, a couple of minutes. While people are on the go, you got to do it like 90% of the time or better. And nobody's close to that. Many like Siri are down in the 20-40% level. If you were asking a real-time question randomly about anything, Quora is going to come in that 20 to 40% as well. And Google might give you an answer, but what's at the top of the screen is usually not necessarily relevant to the actual answer, the specific answer that you want. it comes out to about 50% of the time. So this study is pretty extensive, and the results will be public in a couple of weeks.
What do you, but okay, all of that is very good, but on the whole on the go issue, I mean, do you think that typing is really an on the go thing, or do you think that eventually voice has to be worked into it?
Oh, I think it's both. It's got to be both. So when I'm using the ChaCha app, for example, I'm using my voice. I'm speaking to my phone, and it's giving my answer. I don't necessarily have to hear or want to hear it back for other people around me to hear. But I definitely want to be able to speak it unless I'm at a loud ball game or in a boardroom, where I don't want people to know what I'm asking, in which case I'll, do the extra step of typing it. So I think it's got to be both.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned Quora a bit earlier. I mean, I think that we've got a sort of interesting thing happening in the Q&A space, which is this idea of long form Q&A and these kind of longer discussions, via Branch or Quora. Where do you see ChaCha ever playing in that area, or is that something that you think is a kind of separate sort of, genre of questions and answers and maybe arguments versus Q&As?
Yeah, I've always thought that we didn't compete. I love Quora. I think it's a really cool product. Quora is more, I'd say, other than the fact that they put Q&A, they use the term Q&A, it's really around blogging. It's really around, Wikipedia type content. It's Q&A formatted, but it's more Wikipedia-like and therefore more competitive with something like a blogging platform or Wikipedia. It doesn't feel very competitive to us. It never has. And so, I think, companies with long-form format like Quora can coexist very happily with real-time Q&A services like ChaCha.
Last question. You mentioned also how a lot of companies and big name companies have kind of moved in and out of the Q&A space. Do you see that there's going to be a return to that sort of method of entering into information discovery appearing again? Do you think that either by integrating with companies like ChaCha or through their own efforts?
Oh, absolutely. I think Google, Facebook, Twitter, practically everybody would like to be able to provide succinct answers to questions and help people when they're wondering about anything. So I think it's a goal. People have moved in and out, toward and away from that goal because it's hard to do. So if you're going to do it algorithmically, it's not ready for prime time. Some work was being done when I was back at MIT's Artificial Intelligence Lab, 30 years ago. There was good work being done. There's been progress, like you see things like IBM's Watson project. There's progress, but if the bar is at that 9 times out of 10, you're going to get a relevant, fast result when you ask a question. No algorithmic result is going to produce that in the next few years. We might be there in 5, 10, or 20 years where it meets that metric. But in the meantime, I think combining a little bit of human intelligence at just the right moment to achieve a much better result, and standing on the shoulders of the best that exist algorithmically, and then pumping in that little bit of extra human help through social, that's what ChaCha is all about. And I think we're really onto something. And if we are able to solve this, I think all the big guys will be interested in having some of our answer juice.
Thank you very much, Scott. Congratulations once again, and speak to you again.
All right. Thank you very much, Ingrid.